Alright, so I'm going to give a demo on how to upload your videos and captions to YouTube and show how to edit those in YouTube Studio. So first you'll need a YouTube account and you will need to be logged in. I am logged into my account right now, and the button you'll want to go to is up in the upper right corner. It's this camera icon with a plus on it. This comes right after the search bar in the upper navigation. And when you hover over it, it will say create a video and more. I'm going to click on that and a drop down will appear and I will click upload video. So I'm going to upload a video that was from a Zoom recording. So I'm going to select that file. I'll select the MP4 file. Any video format will do that YouTube supports. I'm going to click open. And once you select your file and hit the upload button, you will have this details pop-up screen. So on step one, you will give your video a title and put a description there. You will also add thumbnails. You can add it to a playlist if you'd like. One rule for YouTube is that you need to note if the video is made for kids. That's just part of the legal requirement. I'm just going to hit no because this wasn't intended for children. It could be for a general audience, it's fine. You can also restrict your video to viewers over 18 if you need. One important area that we're going to need that doesn't automatically appear here is under more options. So I'm going to click more options. You'll see an option for paid promotion. We can skip that. You can add tags to your video if you'd like. And the area that we're going to go to here is the language, subtitles, and closed captions area. One thing to note with YouTube is that they often call closed captions subtitles in many of the areas. So just be aware that subtitles and closed captions, while they are different things, YouTube often treats them the same because they often use the same sort of file formats and you would upload them in similar ways to your video. I'm going to click the upload subtitles/CC link here. You'll get a pop-up that asks what your file type is like. Does it have timing or is it without timing? This particular file is with timing, and any Zoom transcript that you have that's a .vtt file will have that timing. But if you did have a transcript or some sort of text that you wanted to upload with your video and then add the timing later, you can do that in YouTube Studio. But for now, I'm just going to select with timing, and then I'm going to upload the .vtt file. Under caption certification, you will want to note that it has never aired on television in the US. If it has, there are some other legal options here. But for most cases, you're going to just click this content has never aired on television in the US option. The video language is also in English. This is the area where you would also add any sort of subtitles. So if you wanted to translate the content into Spanish, for example, you would upload it here. And underneath that is recording date and location. These are optional. You don't need to add them. You could change the license type if you'd like. And since I'm going to be editing this video's captions and I don't want it to be live to a public audience, I'm going to deselect allow embedding. I'm going to deselect publish to subscriptions feed and notify subscribers. I am also going to disable comments on this. I'm going to deselect how many viewers like and dislike this video. You could change these things later if you'd like, but for me, when I'm doing edits to captions and my video is not ready to go, I'm going to deselect as much as possible so that I don't show this to anyone while I'm making these changes. I'm going to click the next button at the bottom. And then it's going to bring me to step 2, which is video elements. So this is where you would add an end screen or add any cards to promote content during your video. So if, for example, you had a link that you mentioned and you want to put a little pop-up in YouTube that shows that link and a user could just click that, you can add a card for it. I'm just going to skip this for now because this is not something I'm going to use for this particular video. And last, in step 3, we have visibility. So in this instance, I'm going to list this as private because I don't want anyone to see this video yet. I'm still making edits. I don't want it to be public. And in many cases, I'm just going to put it as unlisted. because this is more for a Harvard audience. It's not really for a public audience. This is kind of a staff-facing video, so it would be something that I don't want to make public at the moment. You can also schedule your video to be public, so if you are making edits to your captions, but you think you'll be done today, tomorrow, whenever, and you want to schedule it to go live next week, you can hit schedule down here, and it will make your video public at a certain date. There's also a couple options here. Just make sure there's no kids in the video, and other content guidance. These are just kind of general information about YouTube policies, and I'm going to hit save. Now this particular video is over an hour long, so it does take a while to process on YouTube. Typically I find that YouTube processes about the same length as the video is, so it may be something you need to go back and check on before we can actually edit those captions. I'm going to close this and go to a video that I have already uploaded. So I'm going to go to the subtitles tab on the left. Again, YouTube kind of regards subtitles and captions as the same thing in many cases, even though they are very different. But for this instance, I'm going to go to this video here that I have uploaded with captions already. So when you're on the subtitles tab and you click on the video you want to edit the subtitles for, you're going to see a few options here. So you'll see under language, there's two English versions. So the first one is English video language. This is the caption file that I uploaded. You'll see published by creator. That would be anything that you add to your videos. You can also use the YouTube automatic transcriptions if you'd like and work from there. It really depends on what you want to edit. If you don't have a caption file already, you will usually only see this English automatic after your video is processed. You can also add additional languages if you want to add any subtitle files. You can also enable community contributions. So if you wanted someone to add any sort of translations, they can upload it themselves. I'm just going to leave it off. Typically, I recommend leaving it off because people can kind of upload whatever they want, and you want to be a little careful with those sorts of things. So I am going to go over here. So on the first option here, on English video language, I'm going to go all the way over to the subtitles area, and then there's these three dots here, and you'll click that and click on Edit on Classic Studio. There's also the option to download and delete the subtitle file as well. So one thing to note with YouTube is that they're kind of in a transition period at the moment, as of April 2020, where they are kind of moving over to this new studio look, but some features are still listed on Classic Studio. So if you're viewing this video at a later date, just be aware that Classic Studio may not be there anymore, and that this view may change. But as of April 2020, this is what it looks like. So I am in the classic YouTube subtitle and caption editor. So on the left here, you'll see the captions with the timestamps, just kind of in a list. You can also download this as a VTT file, an SRT file, or SPV file. So if you need to port this over to another video editing format or video editing service, you can just download those files there and upload to the other service. You can rename this or delete it. You can also see the original format if you've made any edits. If I need to make edits to this video, or to this caption rather, I'm going to click the edit button here on the upper right corner. And it will pop me over to this editor. Now the nice thing about this is that you will see the text on the left with the timestamps. You'll also have this timeline down here. We can click and drag and it will adjust the times for those captions. You'll see the waveform as well, so if you do see any areas where there's a lot of silence, that may be where there aren't very many captions going on. So you can kind of scroll along and see here all the captions as we go. You can zoom this in or out if you want to just see everything or keep it as is. And if you want to make any edits, you can do that over here. Now you'll just click on each of these and then it'll bring up the editor area for that particular caption. And you can make those changes. One thing with the captions that come out from Zoom is that they're often very long. The nice thing is that they do have punctuation, which is something that the YouTube automatically generated captions often lack, which is a benefit. However, the lines here are pretty long and you're going to need to split up a lot of these. Typically you want about 1 or 1.5 lines per caption. It really depends on what's being said or how long the phrases are that you're using. But what you can do with this that's really nice is you can play your video. So I'm just going to play this line here.
And she will email a link to that recording for everyone who is attending this meeting.
So I'm going to split this after meeting here. I'm just going to put my cursor between where I want the caption to start and end. I'm going to hit the enter or return key, and then that's going to split that caption into 2. So this is a bit more manageable of a caption, and you can kind of click and drag these 2. And I'm going to just adjust that there so that we are a little bit more smooth in terms of where we're transitioning.
This meeting or who had signed up after the meeting today when she's feeling a bit better.
And so that's a nice way to make these edits. It's also going to adjust the time codes for you, so you don't need to manually do that, which is really nice. One thing that Zoom also does that can be a little tedious to edit, and maybe something that you want to edit before you upload to YouTube, is that it's going to put the speakers' names up for each line that they're saying. You can just remove these, and I would recommend removing these first because you're going to get a little bit more real estate here on each of these lines once you do that. But definitely leave it up when the speakers change. So for this particular presentation, we have 2 Amy's. So it is very important that we distinguish between which Amy is speaking. One thing that's helpful with Zoom is that on this particular video, we did have webcams enabled. So you could see in the video on the right-hand side, it will have the speaker and their name. So it'll be nice when you're making those edits to see who is speaking and who's up on screen and make those changes. But you'll see as we scroll down, we see everyone's names here quite often. So that is a little bit annoying to have to go in and delete and remove all of those. But it is a process that you're going to need to do and make those changes. When you're done, you can hit Save Changes. It will overwrite your existing subtitle file. And then that will be good to go. It'll be live. So since it's just a text file, it's pretty instant in how it is applied to the video. So once you make those changes and save, it's not as long as when the video processes when you upload. And it'll, again, be under the English, not the automatic one, if you need to make any edits again. When you're done, you can go to YouTube Studio. And if I want to delete that video, I can go here, or actually go to Videos, and remove that video if I want to. You can delete it forever. So if you just were using YouTube Studio just to do the edits to your captions, definitely make sure you download them first before you hit delete forever, because forever is forever. Just make sure you download anything that you've edited and make sure that it is the latest version too, because if you made any edits to your captions and you're not looking at the right subtitle file, then you've lost a lot of work there. So just be sure to get all those downloaded before you hit the delete forever. Honestly, out of caution, I just download them in all the different subtitle formats, because you don't know what your platform is going to use when you upload it to Vimeo or YouTube, or not YouTube, to Facebook or any other social media platform that may support captions, or any sort of video deposit service that supports captions. SRT is a really common one you'll see, but it really depends on what that platform was using and maybe what caption format was the common one at the time for the platform. So that's it for this demo. Again, just reach out to me if you have any questions. My name is Danielle Lavoie. I'm the lab manager at the User Research Center, and I'll be happy to help you. Thanks.